So hello everybody, it's Wednesday night, Wednesday the 6th of July, and the women's football European Championship have started, and right now England is playing Austria and leading by 1-0, and I will return to that match after I shot this video. I have to postpone my video about the Booker predictions to next week. I think it's still time. We have 3 weeks until the long list. The Booker dozen is going to be published, going to be released in London for 3 weeks, and next week is time for this video. I still need some time, but today I wanted to present you some summer reading. It's chilly tonight, but it's summer in Sweden. It's summer everywhere in Europe, and some people, and also I think I am one of these people, like to read a little mystery, a little crime, a little thriller during the summer season. And here are the 10 best thrillers you could read during the summer of 2022. Let's go. Number 1 is a novel called A Flicker in the Dark by Stacy Willingham, published by Minotaur Books on January the 11th of 2022. When Chloe Davis was 12, 6 teenage girls went missing in her small Louisiana town. By the end of the summer, her own father had confessed to the crimes and was put away for life, leaving Chloe and the rest of her family to grapple with the truth and try to move forward while dealing with the aftermath. Now, 20 years later, Chloe is a psychologist in Baton Rouge and getting ready for her wedding. While she finally has a fragile grasp on the happiness she's worked so hard to achieve, she sometimes feels as out of control of her own life as the troubled teens who are her patients. When a local teenage girl goes missing, and then another, that terrifying summer comes crashing back for her. Is she paranoid, seeing parallels from her past that aren't actually there? Or for the second time in her life, is Chloe about to unmask a killer? From debut author Stacy Willingham comes a masterfully done lyrical thriller, certain to be the launch of an amazing career. A Flicker in the Dark. Number 2 is a novel by a very established crime writer. It's City on Fire by Don Winslow, published by William Morrow on April 26 in 2022. Two criminal empires together control all of New England, until a beautiful woman comes between the Irish and the Italians, launching a war that will see them kill each other, destroy an alliance, and set a city on fire. Denny Ryan yearns for a more legend life and a place in the sun. But as the bloody conflict stacks body on body and brother turns against brother, Denny has to rise above himself. To save the friends he loves like family and the family he has sworn to protect, he becomes a leader, a ruthless strategist, and a master of a treacherous game in which the winners live and the losers die. From the gritty streets of Providence to the glittering screens of Hollywood to the golden casinos of Las Vegas, two rival crime families ignite a war that will leave only one standing. Exploring the classic themes of loyalty, betrayal, and honor, City on Fire is a contemporary masterpiece, and the tradition of The Godfather, Casino, and Goodfellas, a thrilling saga from Don Winslow, America's greatest living crime writer, as John Land from the Providence Journal has called him. I have 2 titles from Canada. This is Deep House by Thomas King, published by Harper Collins on January 18 of 2022. For the first time since the pandemic, Thumb's Dreadful Water has finally found some peace in small-town Chinook. Sure, his beloved cat is still missing, and his relationship with Claire is more than uncertain, but at least he can relax in the comfort of his home. And now that local businesses are starting to open their doors again, everything can go back to normal. But when Thumbs unintentionally discovers a body at the bottom of a treacherous canyon, he becomes entangled once again in an inexplicable mystery. As more puzzling details come to the surface, Thumbs begins to question whom he can trust, especially when an unexpected visitor walks back into his life. The second or third time that this character, Thumb's Dreadful Water, comes into action by Thomas King. Number 4 is a translated crime novel. It's called Even the Darkest Night by Javier Cercas, translated from the Spanish by McLean and published by Maclehose Press on February 22 of 2022. When Melchior goes to investigate the horrific double murder of a rich printer and his wife in rural Cataluna, nothing quite adds up. The young cop from the big city, hero of a foiled terrorist attack, has been sent to Terra Alta till things quieten down. Otherwise observant, streetwise and circumspect, Melchior is also an outsider. The son of a Barcelona prostitute who never knew his father, Melchior rapidly fell into trouble and was jailed at 19, convicted of driving for a Colombian drug cartel. When he was behind bars, he read Hugo's Les Miserables, and then his mother was murdered. Admiring of both Jean Valjean and Javier, but mostly the relentless Javier, he decided to become a policeman. Now he's out for revenge, but he can wait, and meanwhile he has discovered happiness with his wife, the local librarian, and their daughter, who is, of course, called Cosette. Slowly at first, and then more rapidly once ordered to abandon the case, he tracks the clues that will reveal the larger truth behind what appears at first to be a cold-blooded professional killing. The fifth title comes from an American author living in the German capital of Berlin, or Berlin as we say. Other People's Clothes by Calla Henkel, published at Sceptre by Sceptre on March the 3rd of 2022. 2009, Berlin. Two art students arrive from New York, both desperate for the city to solve their problems. Zoe is grieving for her high school best friend murdered months before in her hometown in Florida. Haley is rich, obsessed with the exploits of Lindsay Lohan and Britney Spears, and wants to be a Warholian legend. Together, they rent a once magnificent apartment from eccentric crime writer Beatrice Bex. With little to fill their time, they spend their nights twisting through Berlin's club scene and their days hangover. Soon, inexplicable things start happening in the apartment, and the two friends suspect they are being watched by Beatrice. Convinced that the landlord is using their lives as inspiration for her next thriller novel, they decide to beat her at her own game. The girls start hosting wild parties in the flat and quickly gain notoriety, with everyone clamoring for an invite to Beatrice's. But ultimately, they find themselves unable to control the narrative, and it spirals into much darker territory. A Berlin novel. Number 6 is Shiftys Boys by Chris Offutt, published by Grove Press on June the 7th, 2022, about a month ago. Chris Offutt is a literary master across genres, and his most recent novel, The Killing Hills, was one of his most successful, earning him a new audience and earning praise from the likes of the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and Crime Reads. His latest book, Shiftys Boys, is a compelling, propulsive thriller of murder and mayhem in the hills of eastern Kentucky. Mick Harden is home on leave, recovering from an IED attack, when a body is found in the center of town. It's Barney Kissick, the local heroin dealer, and the city police see it as an occupational hazard. But when Barney's mother, Shifty, asks Mick to take a look, it seems there's more to the killing than it seems. Mick should be rehabbing his leg, signing his divorce papers, and getting out of town, but most of all staying out of the way of his sister Linda's re-election as sheriff. But he keeps on looking, and suddenly he's getting shot at himself. A dark, pacey crime novel about grief and revenge, and the surprises hidden below the surface. Shiftys Boys is tour de force that confirms Chris Offutt's Mick Harden as one of the most appealing new investigators in fiction. The seductive and relentless figure of Raymond Chandler's detective Philip Marlowe is vividly reimagined in present-day Los Angeles. Here's a city of scheming Malibu actresses, ruthless gang members, violent inequality, and washed-out police. Acclaimed and award-winning novelist Joe Ide imagines a Marlowe very much of our time. He's a quiet, lonely, and remarkable, capable, and confident private detective, though he lives beneath the shadow of his father, a once decorated LAPD homicide detective, famous throughout the city, who was given in to drink after the death of Marlowe's mother. Marlowe, against his better judgment, accepts 2 missing person cases, the first a daughter of a fated, tyrannical Hollywood starlet, and the second a British child stolen from his mother by his father. At the center of the Goodbye Coast is Marlowe's troubled and confounding relationship with his father, a son who despises yet respects his dad, and a dad who's unable to hide his bitter disappointment with his grown boy. Steeped in the richly detailed ethnic neighborhoods of modern LA, Ide's The Goodbye Coast is a bold recreation that is viciously funny, ingeniously plotted, and surprisingly tender. Number 8, the second Canadian book, and one of the most acclaimed thriller novels of this year yet, The Maid by Nita Prose, published by Ballantine Books on January the 4th, 2022. Molly Gray is not like everyone else. She struggles with social skills and misreads the intentions of others. Her gran used to interpret the world for her, codifying it into simple rules that Molly could live by. Since Gran died a few months ago, 25-year-old Molly has been navigating life's complexities all by herself. No matter, she throws herself with gusto into her work as a hotel maid. Her unique character, along with her obsessive love of cleaning and proper etiquette, make her an ideal fit for the job. She delights in donning her crisp uniform each morning, stocking her card with miniature soaps and bottles, and returning guest rooms at the Regency Grand Hotel to a state of perfection. But Molly's orderly life is appended the day she enters the suite of the infamous and wealthy Charles Black, only to find it in a state of disarray and Mr. Black himself dead in his bed. Before she knows what's happening, Molly's unusual demeanor has the police targeting her as their lead suspect. She quickly finds herself caught in a web of deception one she has no idea how to untangle. Fortunately for Molly, friends she never knew she had unite with her in a search for clues to what really happened to Mr. Black, but will they be able to find the real killer before it's too late? A clue-like, locked room mystery and a heartwarming journey of the spirit, The Maid explores what it means to be the same as everyone else and yet entirely different, and reveals that all mysteries can be solved through connection to the human heart. Number 9 is The Night Shift by Alex Finlay, published by Minotaur Books on March the 1st this year. It's New Year's Eve in 1999. Y2K is expected to end in chaos. Planes falling from the sky, elevators plunge into Earth, world markets collapsing. A digital apocalypse. None of that happens, but at a Blockbuster Video in New Jersey, 4 teenagers working late at the store are attacked. Only one inexplicably survives. Police quickly identify a suspect, the boyfriend of one of the victims, who flees and is never seen again. 15 years later, more teenage employees are attacked at an ice cream store in the same town, and again, only one makes it out alive. In the aftermath of the latest crime, 3 lives intersect. The lone survivor of the Blockbuster massacre who's forced to relive the horrors of her tragedy, the brother of the fugitive accused who's convinced the police have the wrong suspect, and FBI agent Sarah Calla who must delve into the secrets of both nights, stirring up memories of teen love and lies to uncover the truth about murders on the night shift. Twisty, poignant, and redemptive, The Night Shift is a story about the legacy of trauma and how the broken can come out on the other side, and it solidifies Finlay as one of the new leading voices in the world of thrillers. Number 10 comes also from a different language. This is 3 Assassins by Kotaro Isaka, translated from the Japanese by Sam Melissa. Suzuki is an ordinary man until his wife is murdered. To get answers and his revenge, Suzuki abandons his law-abiding lifestyle and takes a low-level job with a front company operated by the crime gang Maid, who are responsible for his wife's death. Before long, Suzuki finds himself caught up in a network of quirky and highly effective assassins. The cicada is a knife expert, the pusher nudges people into oncoming traffic. The whale whispers bleak aphorisms to his victims until they take their own lives. Intense and electrifying, 3 Assassins delivers a wild ride through the criminal underworld of Tokyo, populated by contract killers who are almost superhumanly good at their jobs. And that completes the 10 crime thrillers, mystery books that I would recommend for this summer. Have you read any crime novels from this year or from the last year that you would recommend to all of us, to me? And please leave me a comment down below. Thanks very much for watching. See you. Have a great week. Bye-bye.